Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
Find a living in fisheries. The UAS Fisheries Technology Program offers online study from anywhere in Alaska, plus labs and workshops in many Alaska towns.
Is most likely a chum.
Find your living without leaving where you are. Fisheries Technology from UAS.
The National Weather Service.
Hello again, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here at KAKM Studios for Monday's edition of Alaska Weather. Still flood advisory here for the central interior rivers, Salsa, Tanana, and the streams around the greater Fairbanks area. So moving on to the satellite imagery today, see a lot of sunshine, clear skies here, southwest to northeast across interior Alaska, and extending out sunshine earlier today over the Pribilofs and some breaks down there over the eastern Aleutians. Big mass of moisture here coming northward from off the map down there. Upper level low coming southward, dropping southward off the Alaska Peninsula. So the wind flow aloft went from westerly early yesterday to southeasterly, kind of backed around to the southeast across the northern Gulf and then across south central Alaska. So that moisture that was trying to push through late yesterday actually stopped and then pulled back to the west. And another development down here is going to be pushing off to the northeast, and some pretty good rain falling in over the eastern and southern Copper River Basin today, and then it really cuts off here in the northern Susitna Valley to just a few scattered showers over the Brooks Range, and then into the sunshine there, and temperatures in the 70s here. About the Tanana Valley, Yukon Flats, even the eastern North Slope and Arctic coast, pretty good, but Kaktovik was socked in with some low clouds and fog throughout most of the day, kept the temperature there just in the mid-30s. Band of moisture and clouds there approaching the northwest coast. Not expected to really do that much. Could be a little light precipitation showing up just to the west of Point Lay there on the west side, and that's about it. Not really kicking the winds up too much at all either. And basically the same pattern out here over the Bering Sea, just considerable low clouds and fog with light winds. And no change in that pattern expected over the next couple of days. Had a little bit of moisture in the form of light rain, drizzle, and fog there dropping around the central Aleutians, but again, precipitation amounts didn't amount to very much at all. Had some sunshine here over the southeast Bering Sea, as well as low clouds and patchy areas of fog up toward the Bering Strait. Here's that weak trough approaching the northwest coast there, with a little bit of light precipitation, nothing significant at all there. And then this trough over the northwest interior kept easterly winds 10 to 25 miles an hour and gusts along the eastern Arctic coast. And then they turned southeast and actually increased there at Atasuk and Barrow, seeing gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour this afternoon. And we had some scattered showers here, changed from the rain over the southern Copper River Basin and the Wrangels, just scattered showers on up into the upper Tanana Valley area over toward the border. Rainfall amounts today up to 0.8 of an inch over the southern Kenai Peninsula, and anywhere from 1/10 to 4/10 here falling across south central Alaska from the southern Kuskokwim Valley, Bristol Bay areas in across the Copper River Basin, but over toward the west and southwest slopes of the Wrangell Mountains. Over an inch fell in 12-hour period ending at about 3 p.m. this afternoon over in that area, but much lighter to the north, just a few hundredths, and it kind of cuts off there along the Alaska Range. Some of that rain slipping over toward Yakutat, nearly 1/2 inch fell today, and lighter amounts in toward Juneau, and mostly cloudy over the central interior and a few scattered showers on down to the south. I thought that moisture would have hung off the coast there, but it snuck its way inland, and you can see more back to the west here due to move in, the development right in this area. We'll see for tonight that develops into another frontal system there and pushes this way northeastward. So late tonight that'll increase the rain along the coast, especially in the north, and after maybe a break, more rain pushes up toward the North Gulf Coast, and a little bit of an increase in the winds too into Prince William Sound, especially western Prince William Sound, southern coast of the Kenai Peninsula. Looks wet down toward Kodiak Island, just kind of got clipped by low moisture earlier today, and it looks like some of that will actually pull back into the southwest there right across the island, and then scattered showers here over the western mountains. Mostly cloudy skies, isolated showers, so kind of diminishing there over the Copper River Basin. Mostly clear here through the interior, maybe some isolated showers there over the west central Brooks Range. North Slope looking pretty good. Maybe some patchy fog, but for the most part looks like a VFR evening coming up for the Arctic coast there. A few isolated showers possible here over the Seward Peninsula this evening. Low clouds, fog areas of drizzle continue over the Bering Sea with north to northwest winds, breezes, barely a breeze out in that area. And then for tomorrow, this next system pushes its way across the Russian Far East. Very weak warm front right through here. Most of the moisture along and back to the west, staying off the coast. That first trough kind of gets sheared apart, portion of it in the form of clouds dropping southward. The other portion may be responsible for those isolated showers that could pop up here over the Brooks Range tomorrow afternoon, but really just dissolves altogether. Isolated thunderstorms, partly to mostly sunny there north of the Alaska Range across the Tanana Valley here. No big outbreak, but that'd be the likely area to see any convection tomorrow. There was a little bit starting to show up there over the White Mountains, I believe, this afternoon. And then this front starting to weaken, not really pushing its way in all that fast, comes right up to the coastline of the Panhandle there, and periods of rain, a little bit of an increase in the south and southeast winds, small craft advisories for the North Gulf Coast, and then it really starts breaking up precipitation-wise here, probably cutting off. So a dry day for Cook Inlet and possibly the valleys. Could see a little bit of sunshine, but mostly cloudy should cover it. And some precipitation down across the Aleutian Range and Alaska Peninsula of the light variety, scattered showers over the southwest, sunshine, say from the Yukon Delta area. Again, pretty nice day coming up for the Seward Peninsula and back across the northeast. That actually looks a little more impressive than it actually will be. And this very weak warm front here bringing chance of drizzle. That'll stay hopefully west of the Pribilof. Probably something light might slide in there tomorrow night. And then on Tuesday, that system tracks up to the northeast there, just north of Barrow. Not all that strong, and a trough right through here. That'll be a concentrated area of showers and possible thunderstorms all the way down to the Kilbrook Mountains, back up to the north central areas and then on to the east. This won't be a solid area of precipitation, but this would be the colored area there. Green would be the most likely area to see some showers and thunderstorms. Another trough brings some moisture onto the northwest coast, probably dropping visibilities possibly in the IFR range in that area, coming around the southwest side of that low center just north of Barrow. And another warm front, very weak, just the westerly flow pulling warm air out of the Russian Far East. Could be a little bit of light moisture there. Definitely marginal to IFR conditions here continue over the Bering Sea. Not a big change out there at all. And another system develops and moves northward quite rapidly. Another 1,004 millibar low there, pulling up in toward the Gulf of Alaska. Pretty good frontal system pushing up. Definitely get some small craft advisories for the north coast of the Panhandle in the day, and rain spreading back over the area there. And with the upper level low coming southeastward, it's actually already southeast, will begin to edge its way eastward and then pull northward. So you're going to see probably through the remainder of the week several surges of moisture with very short breaks in between coming into the Panhandle and probably in the North Gulf Coast as well. For temperatures across the southeast coast today, 62 up at Skagway, Annette, 64, 63 in Klawock with 59 at Sitka. State capital at 57. About the same in Cordova and Valdez, mid to upper 50s here in North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, 66 in Talkeetna with Homer at 59, 56 down at Kodiak. McCarthy 54, up 10 from that at Northway, 68 degrees. believe that's Delta, and 71 there at Fairbanks. The more sunshine, see the high 60s to lower 70s. Up to the north, not too bad, mid to upper 60s here. Mostly sunny skies there. Upper Yukon Valley, Bettles on up to the North Slope. We had Airfield at 63, just 34 at Kaktovik, Barrow up to 54. 60 degrees before the winds switch around to the west there at Wainwright. Upper 40s down the coastline, and 60s and 70s here over the Seward Peninsula. That's Selawik with 74, which is the warmest spot on the map here, and 73 at Holy Cross, 62 in Nome, 70 at Bethel, 64 Kipnuk, and 57 both at St. Paul and St. George. St. Paul did push up to 59 before some clouds rolled in. 50s for the Alaska Peninsula, also out in the Aleutians. Lows for tonight, 30s eastern Arctic coast, 40s for the North Slope, 50s here over the western interior, upper 40s to upper 50s over south central Alaska, some upper mid 40s there over the eastern Tanana Valley 40-mile area there, 50s for the southeast coast. Highs for tomorrow just into the lower 60s here for the Panhandle. Nice 70s again over the central interior, right back down to the Kuskokwim Bay area, right almost out to the coastline. 60s and 70s Seward Peninsula, 60s and maybe lower 70s possible there for the North Slope area, cooler along the coast, and upper 60s to maybe some lower 70s there for the Susitna Valley, 50s for the Aleutians, Bering Sea, Pribilofs, and St. Lawrence Island. Flying weather, IFR off the coast here, and a band in over the Panhandle tomorrow morning. Kodiak Island, IFR, and otherwise much of the interior pretty good. Some VFR persisting here along the southwest coast, Seward Peninsula, some fog up here over from about Kotzebue Sound through the Strait to just maybe St. Lawrence Island, and no change out there over the Bering Sea. And that continues into tomorrow afternoon here, IFR right down just or along the north shores of the Fox Islands and the Alaska Peninsula. VFR through a lot of the interior, marginal VFR there, Prince William Sound, North Gulf Coast, all of the Panhandle, and VFR all the way out to the Arctic coast and a little beyond. For passes, Anatuvik and Adigan, both VFR tomorrow, staying open in those. Lake Clark, occasionally marginal at times, which means it could be VFR at other times. Rainy, marginal VFR, be trending toward VFR conditions. Windy, I'll go optimistically VFR. Same thing for Isabel. Mentasta VFR, Tanita, same forecast. Portage, IFR, lowest conditions will be on the eastern entrance. Again, even the west side could be IFR tomorrow, but definitely the lower conditions will be on the Passage Canal side. Chilcoot and White, marginal VFR, possibly becoming IFR as more moisture moves northward in the afternoon. Freezing levels still about 8,000 feet here across the interior and much of the Panhandle, right down across the Alaska Peninsula. Shade cooler on the Arctic coast, but not much. We've got 10,000 feet there across the southern Panhandle, and then much warmer conditions, 14,000 feet over the western Aleutians with upper high pressure off to the southwest. And for icing tomorrow, kind of a band right along the coastline there covering the Panhandle, North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, cutting off about the Chugach Mountains here, but extending down to the southwest across Kodiak and eastern Bristol Bay, above 8,000 feet, and that's areas of. And for the jet stream here, upper level low coming or kind of stationary here through tomorrow, and then it begins to edge eastward and northward, and that's going to keep southwest flow in across the southeast coast probably into Friday. And so again, several surges of moisture will be just rolling on up into that area. Then when this moves through probably early in the weekend, they'll become a little more showery and dry out a little bit. Not much flow here through the interior. Southwest 50 on the Arctic coast. Northerlies continue across the eastern Bering Sea, lightening up as you head west. And at 9,000 feet, southeasterlies, south-southeast up to 20 knots along the Panhandle. Lighter here over the North Gulf Coast, maybe up to 20 knots there, Kodiak Island. Pretty light here through the central interior. 15 to 20-ish here for the Selawik Valley area back to Cape Lisburne. And then northwesterlies out over the Bering Sea in the 10 to 20 knot range. That same pattern also at 3,000 feet here, no change either at 9 or 3,000 feet. Even the wind speed's about the same out to the west there. Westerlies maybe up to 20 here coming across Kamishak Bay and southwest of Kodiak. Light winds mostly from the south or southwest over the interior right on out to the Arctic coast. Could see some 15 to 20 knot winds there across the panhandle. As far as turbulence goes, didn't draw any in here along the southeast coast, but with kind of a barrier jet situation developing, probably from, say, Elfin Cove all the way back into Prince William Sound into maybe even the Madanuska Valley, Turnagain Arm area, and down the east side of Kodiak Island. Light to very isolated, moderate below 4,000 feet, possibly there around Sitkinak and the Trinity Islands, as well as the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians, but nothing really heavy at all. And after hangar flying, I'll be back with a look at the marine forecasts.
Good evening, I'm Harry Keeling, and on behalf of Alaska Public Media and the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, welcome to Hangar Flying. It's my pleasure this evening to welcome back Major Mike Boyer. Mike is a C-17 pilot and at J-Bear, and I just found out something really incredible. His brother is an F-22 pilot at J-Bear. I mean, how cool is that? Two families stationed at the same base, flying different airplanes, and what a great opportunity. I just was pretty excited by that idea. And he also told me that they actually had a deployment and with a tanker from a guard unit, and they actually both got to refuel in that same sortie. Mike in his C-17 and his brother in the F-22. What a great story. Tonight, though, we're going to talk about Arctic thunder. And it's something that many of you in Anchorage and many of you in the valley and around Alaska always look forward to, the air show. So Mike is the director, put a lot of work into this, and it's good to welcome you back.
Thanks for having me back, sir. Appreciate it.
Nice to have you here. So let's start with the basics, dates and times.
The basics, the gates will open to the general public at 9 a.m. on the 30th and the 31st of July.
Great. And we talked about last time about Special Needs Day on Friday, and that's a wonderful thing. But the general public, Saturday or Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday, talk a little bit about the access. I know you covered it last time, but how do people get on base?
Absolutely. The access, again, parking and access is completely free. And the way you access the base is through Boniface or Fort Richardson gates.
Okay. Now, people should be careful, though, with what they bring. Can you just basically cover that? Maybe, and I think it's on the website, too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Please visit the J-Bear website for the full information. And what we really need everyone to understand is that J-Bear is a federal installation. Therefore, no firearms, no marijuana is allowed beyond those gates. So please, if you have any of that, leave it at home. Those are the dates to not bring it.
And no coolers, correct?
Yes, the size restrictions are listed on the website. I believe it says no coolers, but as far as bags go, those are limited as well. So please, again, pay attention to the prohibited items on the website.
Right, and I would encourage our audience to really go to the website and be sure that you don't try and get in with something that's not allowed, because it's going to cause trouble for both you and J-Bear. Okay, so the program. Talk about the awesome show that's going to come.
We're extremely excited about the show. It's a pretty high energy event from start to finish. We have roughly 8 civilian performers coming to demonstrate their capabilities in front of the community. We have the Blue Angels, of course, as the headliner. Everybody knows the Blue Angels. Incredibly exciting show, and we're very grateful to have them this year. We have the F-22 demonstration. If you haven't seen what that thing can do, you have to come out and see it. You'll feel it in your chest as well as see it. It's that loud. You'll have the C-17 demonstration. I'm a little biased because I am a C-17 pilot. It is my favorite. But it's just an incredible machine. You'll see it do some short field takeoffs and landings and do some pretty cool aerial maneuvers.
So let me elaborate on a couple of things. One is, having the Blue Angels here is particularly poignant because earlier in the year they did lose one of their demonstration pilots. And to me, it's a great credit to them and their patriotism that they can get their entire program started back up, and they're coming up to perform for us. So I hope people will keep in mind the sacrifices that groups like the Blue Angels make. So some of the airplanes, local warbirds?
Absolutely. So we have the local community pitching into the event as well. We're bringing in multiple local warbirds, probably more than I can list right now. We're bringing the Heritage Foundation with the P-51, which will fly in concert with the F-22, and just a host of other local aviation assets.
And the Royal Canadian Air Force is going to bring an F-18, right?
Yes, the
Cool.
Royal Canadian Air Force is bringing their single ship F-18 demo. You should see the paint job in this thing. It's pretty amazing. It looks like an orange highlighter. You won't miss it in the sky, guaranteed.
And one of the shows that's always popular, I assume you're going to do what I call the Joint Force employment?
So the Joint Force demo is the meat of what Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson does. It is our chance to demonstrate to the community what we do on a daily basis. We'll take a normal operation, things that we do abroad that you just don't get to see here normally within the state, and we'll demonstrate everything start to finish right in front of you, and we'll always have something going on in front of you. It'll be a very exciting show.
Oh, it sounds like, and you guys always do such a great job. This sounds like it's going to be just more of the same. And who's responsible for the weather?
I was hoping you could take care of that for me.
I'll look into it, but I haven't been very successful.
Sounds good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, remember Saturday and Sunday, and gates open at 9. Program starts at 10:15. Check out the website so you can confirm the times and what you can bring and can't bring. Come out. Lots of good things to eat. Lots of good. See a lot of your friends and enjoy a tremendous show. And it's all about our military, which we're so proud of. So, Mike, thanks for being on the program, and thanks for putting this together.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's program. Until next time, fly safe.
Welcome back. Today's sea ice analysis. Face value, it doesn't look much different than the last several days, with those southeast winds here may have pushed this back to the northwest, the heavier ice a little bit, but still about in along the coast there, just kind of oscillating around from one day to the next. And after today or tomorrow, those winds go back to kind of light and variable, maybe light northwest here on the west side. So really not much big change coming up for the next 2 or 3 days there as far as the ice goes. And for the southeast coastal winds, south 20 knots, becoming southeast up to the north, southeast over the inside waters here down to Clarence Strait, south 15, Lynn Canal. Then on Wednesday in the afternoon, those southerly winds increase to 20 knots for Lynn Canal, southeast 20 for Stevens Passage, Clarence Strait, 4-foot seas. And then small craft advisories here with the strongest winds up toward the north out of the south-southeast, 25 to 30 knots, seas 9 to 10 feet with that next front rolling on in. And for Tuesday, tomorrow, southeast winds 25 knots to the North Gulf Coast, east 20 in the forecast for Prince William Sound, northeast 15 to 20 for the inlet, and 20-knot wind Shelikof Strait and Kamishak Bay, and then lighter here to the east. For the Wednesday outlook, pretty light winds here on the east side of Kodiak Island and just barely a breeze there in Shelikof Strait. 20-knot northeasterlies, Kamishak Bay, right up into northern Cook Inlet, 4 to 5 foot seas. Small crafts there for Prince William Sound now, east 25, 6 foot seas. Southeast 30 here for the North Gulf Coast with seas at 10 feet and then lighter back to the west. For Bristol Bay, east 15 tomorrow turns mostly north at about 15 to northwest here across the Alaska Peninsula, easterlies 15, Castle Cape to Sitkinak. And for Wednesday, kind of a variable to light westerly drift here for the bay, so really laid down here. Seas as well all the way down the coastline and just northeast 15 from Cape Sarachief to Castle Cape, and then kind of a real light northeast wind there up towards Sitkinak. For the Fox Islands, looks like mostly you're in this northwest 20 zone there, 5 to 6 foot seas, 15 to 20 just to the west. Central Aleutians, pretty light winds continuing there, 10 to 15 knots all the way out to Shimmy and Attu, and these seas really slight here, just running 3 to 6 feet. And then for Wednesday, a little bit more of a breeze now. Westerlies at about 25 to 6 foot seas, dropping back to 15 in the central areas. Northwest winds now mostly across Unalaska Island at 20 knots with 5 to 6 foot seas. And for the southwest coast, north to northwest, 15 knots there, 3 to 4 foot seas. Lighter southwest, give or take there for St. Lawrence Island, but nothing strong at all. West 20 here for the northern Bering Sea, northwest 20 for the Pribilofs with 5-foot seas. And then for Wednesday, light variable winds here out over the St. Matthew Island area. In fact, all the way down to the Pribilofs, maybe through in a southwest direction there. We're really going to be laid down. West to northwest 10 to 15 there for the coast, and light south winds for St. Lawrence Island. Up along the Arctic coast, pretty light winds here, east-northeast 10 to 15 there in the central and east coast. And then easterlies at 10 on the west side. Looks like Cape Thompson to Cape Beaufort. That's where the strongest winds will be out of the south at about 20 knots with 4-foot seas. And then for Wednesday, Wales to Cape Thompson, southwest at 20, 6-foot seas. And then kind of a variable to northwest wind here for the central and western coast, very light. Southeast, possibly up to 20 knots here for the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline, diminishing and turning southeast toward Demarcation Point with those seas roughly 3 to 4 feet. And for tonight, again, we've got another development here pushing northeastward. So that'll bring the rain back in toward the coast later tonight, toward morning, North Gulf Coast as well, down across Kodiak Island. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers south of the mountains, east of the Kuskokwim, and fair through the interior. And for tomorrow, this front starts to weaken now, hangs together enough to keep it wet all the way back to Prince William Sound. Looks like that precipitation will cut off right along the Chugach Mountains. Occasional rain across the southeast coast, isolated thunderstorms over the interior, temperatures back into the 60s and mid-70s. And then for Wednesday, a trough right through here, showers and thunderstorms there, isolated thunderstorms western Cook Inlet. Another big storm rolls up here, more rain and wind into the southeast coast with rain back across Prince William Sound. Again, the cutoff line right along the Chugach Mountains, down the Kenai Peninsula. Have a great evening.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.